Welcome back to the Manor Entropians. Julian McBain here, and today we are going to talk about the Codex. But before we get started, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Manor. Please take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Okay. So, the Codex was introduced by MindArc last year as a means to, if I had to guess, it was intended to be a means of simplifying and modernizing the Iron Mission system. So for those of you who are new to the game, the Iron Mission system was a set of missions you could take from mission kiosks and some vendors that would have you go out and kill progressively larger numbers of a specific type of mob. Alternatively, you'd have to get kill points, which are based upon the maturity of the mob. There were some issues with that particular method. First off, you didn't know when you took an Iron Mission whether it would be kill points or just straight kills. If it was just straight kills, then it didn't matter the maturity of the mob you're hunting, you got 1 point no matter what. Kind of a compromise to that was the introduction of the kill point system, which I don't know if that came later or if that was introduced at the same time. But basically what it was is you kill a mob, you get points for killing the mob. Depending on the maturity, so many points are awarded. And I believe that any one maturity always awarded the same number of points. It wasn't like a mayhem. But the goal was you'd have to go back like 6 or 7 times and kill progressively larger sets of mobs. So like the puny mission, you started off I believe with 50, then you had to kill 100 punies, and punies are a classification or a maturity, not a specific mob. And so you could hunt any mob with the maturity puny. This is the exception to the rule. And it was all straight kills because punies would all have the same number of kill points, which is 0. And you had to shoot 50, then 100, then 500, then 1,000, then 2,000, then 5,000, then 10,000. I believe that's the order of the way things went. And in the end, if you actually did all of the things it told you to, at the end of it, you would have killed 16,600 punies. I did this whole Iron Mission chain. It took forever. But I got a lot of skills out of it. And I learned the game by doing it. And that was a key part of how you figured out all of the little nuances of Entropia universe. You go out and you did this Iron Mission, you just kept grinding over and over. It's basically where the idea of embracing the grind came from, because there isn't anything more grindy than an Iron Mission. Well, the problem is that depending on the Iron Mission, you'd have to go back to the kiosk. Sometimes it would just award it to you, other times you have to go back to the kiosk. You didn't really have much choice in what skills you got. It changed often with every level of the mission, which to a certain extent that kind of worked, but then when you go to get a skill, the skill you wanted would have a lot less value to it than a different skill that you probably didn't have any intention of using. So that made it tough too. And so eventually, after 16 years, I'm sure MindArc was like, okay guys, we got to come up with something new, kind of innovate. You know, it was 2019, and so they came up with the Codex missions. And so the Codex replaced the Iron Missions. Now, if you had Iron Missions, they put a 1-year time limit on completing the Iron Missions you had, which is good, because it gives the players who actually put the time in time to finish those missions up. First, it was going to be a month, and they're like, this isn't enough time for a lot of players, give them a year. And they were pretty outspoken about it so that players didn't have a whole lot of excuses for not hearing it, unless they just decided to ignore the game for a while, and then that's on them, not on MindArc. And so, oh, I forgot to count that up. Oh well, I'll count it up today. And so now you have the Codex, which is available to everyone. It's a part of it's built into your system. It sits right here on your top bar. I have not moved that since it appeared. At least I don't think I have. No, for crying out loud. Oh good, I got his attention anyway. Oh, somehow I hit him? I don't know. And you can select the mobs that you want to fight at the time. Like currently we have Berry Clud selected, so it's at the top. If I decide to track Argonauts, they will also jump, and it's in alphabetical order otherwise. So if I untrack everything, they're all in alphabetical order. Now I'm currently hunting Berry Clud, so I'm going to keep that one tracked. Like Iron missions, every rank in the challenge gets tougher. So currently I'm doing the Berry Clud challenge. I am at rank 24 out of 26. All of them have 26 ranks. I'm at 84.4%, and every time I kill one of these, I believe it gives me 0.2% of the mission. When I first started the Berry Clud challenge at rank 1, I could kill level 3 Berry Clud and get progress. Now, it still provides progress, but it may not be very noticeable progress. Like I'm at the level 7 drone mission. I got 74.8%, and it takes 2 or 3 of the drones and orthos for me to move it a tenth of a percent. So you still get credit, you still get the points, but the points are just a lot smaller relative to the percentage because it's a higher level challenge. The challenges are supposed to get more difficult as you go. That's the point. So that is how the Codex challenges work. As a quality of life item, it's an amazing improvement. I think it's a lot more straightforward. You have this wonderful progress bar because gamers love progress bars. And so, as opposed to having numbers to have to figure out. And so I believe that overall Mindark made a good move in creating this. Now, what other features of the Codex? We opened it up earlier, but here you have the ability to search. Oh, it does give you a total number of all, because you can see I don't have 133 mobs listed here. There's 133 entries that you can gather so far. Currently, it only encompasses Calypso, Foma, and Crystal Palace. They are test bedding it. They're making sure it works. Part of it is, I know for a fact, to keep people on Calypso or get people back to Calypso, because you have a lot more options for selecting skills when you're here. But at the same time, they have said that they're going to release it to other planet partners, or to the planet partners in sometime in the future. I'm hoping by the end of this year. In all likelihood, they will do that in a certain order. They're probably going to, now that they've got all of this figured out, their next step would be to release it, say, on Monria, because Monria is a perfect testbed for something like this. And I say that because it has a small number of variations of mob. There's a grand total of 4 with a couple of specials. There is a modest but functioning, actually a growing player base on Monria. They are, from what I understand, registering sometimes hundreds of players a week, which is awesome. So there's a lot of incentive for Mindark to bring the Codex to Monria. And they're on a different contract than the other planet partners, so there's better integration. They have more limitations from what I don't even want to guess as to the rules around Monria, but they have access to a lot of Calypsan advantages, like my Leprechaun, which is a planet-dependent pet, can spawn on Calypso even though it's a Monrian pet. You can spawn Calypso-only pets on Monria even before they're level 7. This is something unique to Monria, and it's because of their specialized relationship with Mindark. That being said, that gives Mindark the ability to integrate their stuff better with Monria first to make sure that everything works the way it's supposed to. After that, I'm sure their next place to integrate would be Arcadia. Although, trying to replace the IFN missions are going to be tough because there are other things that go with the IFN missions. These are things that I eventually need to go over there and do. It's kind of on the list. I do know it takes a long time to get through them all, like everything in Entropia universe, but how that will affect the IFN missions, I'm very curious to find out. And it could be the planet partners could just blanket come out and say, or a planet partner could just decide they don't want it. I don't know how that affects it. I don't know how being a member of the platform subjects you to Mind Arc, because there's a contract. Every planet partner has a contract. Every contract has provisions. The planet partners retain a certain amount of independence, but there's a certain, because of their they are dependent on Mind Arc's platform, there's a certain amount of compliance that they have to do whenever Mind Arc introduces something. So I don't know how that is going to pan out or what that looks like. So moving back into the Codex, the features of the Codex itself, you have the total number of mobs you can find up here. That tells you if you've caught them all. Go Pokemon on them. They're in alphabetical order, so they're easy to find, and if you're tracking it, they're moved to the top, again in alphabetical order. It shows you what rank you're on, gives you a progress bar when you click on it. It shows you the different mobs if there are variations. So like Merry Creatures are the most scattered because they're actually different variations on existing mobs. Like the Kerberos, there's only one variation, but if you go up to the Aatrox, there are two. Which this one looks kind of cute and derpy compared to this one. So I think this is the pet. I know the Argonauts, my son actually pointed out, this is what an Argonaut looks like. Huh, their eyes are inside their mouth. Never knew that. And this is an alternate form of Argonaut, which I don't know that I've ever run into that variation of Argonaut. So you can learn things in here as well. You've got big bulks. Okay, that's fair. Cods, Cornucondas, Dicaba, Defenders, Exarosaurs, which I'm surprised they didn't put Longtooth on here. I wonder if the Longtooth will have their own entry. But as you can see, the majority of them don't have alternate... Oh, Ripper Snappers. Basically Piranha. Oh, Sabakuma, and here is the Sabakuma Queen. So she obviously counts for the mission, even though she's, you know, level 1. These guys are fucking terrifying, the Skyflails. So as you can see, and oh yeah, I didn't even realize, space is included in this as well. Didn't even think about that. So these are all good things to have, and you have this huge description, so it looks like that when they are updating these things, they might include more flavor text. You got your Tripudons, which are basically frog crocs, and Terps, the most annoying creature in Entropia universe. So yeah, that is the Codex, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them roll this out on other planets. I specifically came back to Calypso to finish some Codex missions because I wanted to be able to focus on certain skill sets and certain attributes for a little bit. But after this, I'm going to go head off to another planet partner and go from there. But I'm really looking forward to moving to other planets so that no matter what I'm doing or where I am, I can always do those tracked missions, those Codex missions, and continue to customize my avatar into the tank that I want it to be. Okay, so that's all I have for the Codex. I'm not going to drag this one out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. As always, I really appreciate all the support. You all have a wonderful day.